Let me tell you a story I've seen play out hundreds of times in my clinic. A man in his late 60s sits across from me, rubbing his calves without even realizing he's doing it. He tells me his feet feel cold all the time. He says his legs feel heavy, tired, sometimes numb. At night, there's cramping. During the day, walking feels harder than it used to. And the quiet fear behind his words is always the same. Doctor, is this just aging, or is something wrong with me? If that sounds familiar, I want you to listen very carefully right now. Because what I am about to share could change how your legs and feet feel every single day. Poor blood flow in the legs and feet is one of the most overlooked problems as we get older. People assume cold feet, tingling, swelling, or weakness are just part of getting older. They ignore it. They push through it. And slowly, without realizing it, their world gets smaller. They stop walking as far. They sit more. They move less. And circulation gets even worse. But here's the part that surprises almost everyone. In many cases, it's not because you're too old. It's not because your legs are wearing out. And it's not because you need expensive equipment, medications, or intense workouts. In fact, I've seen patients improve circulation in their legs and feet using one simple movement, one exercise. Done the right way. And no, it's not jogging, it's not long walks. It's not squats. And it's definitely not anything that puts stress on your knees or back. Stay with me until the end of this video, because I'm going to explain why blood flow slows down in the legs, what most people get wrong about circulation, and exactly how this one exercise helps wake up the muscles and blood vessels that keep your legs warm, strong, and alive. And I promise you this, by the end, you'll understand your legs better than you ever have before. Now, let's talk about what's really happening inside your body. Your heart is strong. It works day and night, pumping blood downward into your legs. But here's the challenge most people don't realize. Blood doesn't magically flow back up from your feet to your heart on its own. Your legs need help. They rely on something we call the muscle pump. Every time your leg muscles contract, they squeeze your veins and push blood upward, back toward your heart. When those muscles are active, circulation improves. When they're inactive, blood pools, oxygen delivery drops, waste products build up. And that's when symptoms begin. Cold feet, swelling around the ankles, that heavy, tired feeling, pins and needles, cramping at night. And here's the uncomfortable truth. As we age, we sit more than ever before. Chairs, sofas, cars, beds, hours pass without meaningful leg movement. Even people who walk a little during the day often aren't activating the right muscles to support circulation. I've had patients tell me, "But doctor, I walk every day. And when I watch how they walk, their steps are short. Their ankles barely move. Their calves aren't engaging. The muscle pump is asleep." This is where things quietly go downhill. Unless you interrupt the process. Let me share another moment I'll never forget. A woman in her 70s came to see me after being told her circulation was just poor. She was scared. She thought that was the beginning of the end. We didn't start with medication. We didn't start with machines. We started with one gentle, focused movement designed to wake up the muscles that push blood out of the feet and back to the heart. A few weeks later, she came back smiling. Her feet were warmer. The swelling had gone down. She was sleeping better. Not because of a miracle, but because her body finally got the signal it needed. And that signal comes from movement done correctly, not aggressively. Here's what I want you to understand right now. Circulation is not just about the heart. It's about communication between your brain, your muscles, and your blood vessels. When that communication improves, blood flow improves. In this video, I'm going to show you how one specific exercise supports that communication. I'll explain why it works, why it's safe for seniors, and why it often works better than walking alone when circulation is already compromised. But before we get there, there's one more thing you need to hear, and this is important. Ignoring circulation issues doesn't make them go away. It makes them quieter until they're louder. The earlier you support blood flow, the more control you keep over your mobility, your independence, and your confidence. So if you've ever looked down at your feet and wondered why they don't feel like they used to, if you've ever felt that heaviness in your legs, or if you simply want to protect your circulation as you age, you're exactly where you need to be. In the next part, I'm going to break down the simple science behind circulation in plain English, clear up some dangerous myths, and explain why this one exercise works when so many others fail. Let's slow things down for a moment and talk calmly about the science, because once you understand this, everything else starts to make sense. Most people believe blood circulation is something that either works or doesn't. They think it's all about blocked arteries or a weak heart. That's only part of the story. In reality, circulation is a dynamic system, and your legs are the hardest place for blood to move, especially as you get older. Think about gravity. Blood flows easily from the heart down into the legs, but coming back up is a different challenge. Your veins don't have strong muscles like arteries do. Instead, they rely on valves and muscle contractions to move blood upward. Every time your calf muscles tighten and release, they act like a second heart, gently squeezing blood back toward your chest. This is why the calf muscles are often called the peripheral heart. Now here's where things quietly go wrong. As we age, muscle mass naturally decreases if we don't actively maintain it. Ankles become stiffer. Calf muscles weaken. Sitting becomes the default posture. And when those muscles stop contracting fully and regularly, blood starts to linger in the lower legs. When blood lingers, oxygen delivery drops. Nerves become irritated. Fluid leaks into surrounding tissues. That's when you start noticing swelling, tingling, heaviness, or that strange cold feeling even in warm rooms. Many people assume the solution is simply walk more. Walking is helpful, but only if the movement is intentional and complete. Shuffling steps, flat-footed walking, or walking with tight shoes that restrict ankle movement often fails to activate the muscle pump effectively. Here is one of the biggest myths I hear in my office. If I just sit and wiggle my toes, that's enough. Toe movement alone is not enough. The calves and ankles must move through a full controlled range to truly push blood upward. Another myth is that circulation problems always mean severe artery disease. While that can happen, many seniors with cold feet and tired legs actually have functional circulation problems. The blood vessels are still capable, but they're not being stimulated properly. And that's good news because functional problems can often be improved. Let me explain what the right kind of movement does at a deeper level. When muscles contract rhythmically, they send signals to the lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium. That lining releases natural chemicals that tell the vessels to relax and widen. Wider vessels mean better flow. Better flow means warmer feet, less pressure, and healthier nerves. This is not instant. It's a conversation your body needs to hear again and again. I've seen people try expensive foot massagers, compression socks worn incorrectly, or supplements promising miracle circulation. Some feel temporary relief, but the underlying issue remains because the muscles themselves are still inactive. The exercise I am about to show you works because it targets three critical things at once: ankle mobility, calf muscle activation, and rhythmic pumping. It doesn't rely on speed or strength. It relies on consistency and control. One of my patients once said, "Doctor, this feels too simple to matter." 2 weeks later, he said, "I can feel blood moving in my legs again." That awareness alone often motivates people to keep going. And here's another important point that doesn't get talked about enough. Circulation improves when your nervous system feels safe. Gentle, controlled movements tell your brain there's no threat. When the nervous system relaxes, blood vessels open. Harsh, painful exercise can do the opposite, especially in older adults. This is why pushing through pain is not the answer. Supporting circulation should feel calming, not exhausting. In the next part, I'm going to walk you through the exact exercise, how often to do it, what mistakes to avoid, and how to support it with simple daily habits and food choices that nourish blood flow from the inside out. If you've stayed with me this far, you're already doing something powerful for your health, just by learning. If you take nothing else from this conversation, I want you to remember this. Your body is not done with you. Not your legs, not your feet, not your ability to feel strong and steady again. I've met people in their 80s who believe the coldness, the heaviness, the numbness meant decline was inevitable. And I've seen the relief in their eyes when they realized their bodies were simply waiting for the right signal. Not punishment, not extreme effort. Just a clear, gentle message that said, it's safe to move blood again. That one simple exercise we talked about is more than a movement. It's a reminder to your nervous system that your legs are still needed, still capable, still alive. Every slow heel lift is a conversation between your muscles and your blood vessels. And with time, that conversation gets stronger. You may not notice a dramatic change in one day, but you might notice your feet feel a little warmer by the end of the week. You might notice your legs feel lighter when you stand up. You might notice you're less aware of your feet at night, and that's a good thing. Those small signs mean circulation is waking up. Consistency matters more than intensity. 5 calm minutes a day, done with awareness, can do more for your legs than pushing through a painful workout you'll avoid tomorrow. This is about building trust with your body again. And please remember this: improving circulation is not about chasing youth. It's about preserving independence. It's about walking into your kitchen without fear. It's about standing in the shower feeling stable. It's about living in your body, not just managing it. If you've ever felt dismissed when you mentioned cold feet or tired legs, know this: you're not imagining it, and you're not powerless. Your body responds to care, even later in life. I encourage you to start today. Sit down, take a breath, lift your heels slowly, feel the muscles engage, and remind your body that it still knows what to do. If this message helped you, take a moment to like this video so more people can find it. Subscribe if you want more calm, honest guidance on staying healthy as you age. And if you feel comfortable, leave a comment and tell me how your legs and feet feel right now. I read them and they matter. Take care of your body. It's been taking care of you for a long time. Now let's bring this into real life, because understanding is important. But what changes your circulation is what you actually do day after day. The exercise itself is simple, gentle, and safe for most people, even if you haven't exercised in years. And I want you to listen closely, because how you do it matters more than how long you do it. You can do this seated in a chair, on the edge of your bed, or even holding onto a counter if you prefer to stand. Start by placing your feet flat on the floor. Take a slow breath in through your nose, and as you breathe out, gently lift your heels off the floor while keeping the balls of your feet down. You'll feel your calf muscles engage. Hold for a moment, not straining, just feeling the contraction. Then slowly lower your heels back down until they touch the floor again. That's 1 repetition. This movement wakes up the calf muscle pump. It squeezes the veins, encourages blood to move upward, and gently stretches the ankle joint. The key is slow and controlled. No bouncing, no rushing. Imagine you're guiding blood upward with each lift. Do this for about 1 to 2 minutes at first. That may not sound like much, but for someone with poor circulation, it's often enough to create a noticeable sensation of warmth or tingling. That's blood flow returning. As the days go on, you can increase to 5 minutes once or twice a day. Morning is excellent because it wakes up circulation after hours of lying still. Evening is helpful if your legs swell or feel heavy by night. Now here's where many people make mistakes. They rush through it. They hold their breath. They tense their shoulders and jaw, or they push through pain. None of that helps circulation. In fact, it can reduce it. This exercise should feel steady, almost meditative. If you feel sharp pain, stop. Mild muscle effort is normal. Pain is not. Another mistake is doing it once and expecting a miracle. Circulation improves with repetition. Think of it like brushing your teeth. One day doesn't change much, but daily care makes a huge difference over time. Now let's support this movement with a few daily habits that amplify the results. First, hydration. Blood is mostly water. When you're dehydrated, blood becomes thicker and harder to move. Many seniors simply don't drink enough water. Even mild dehydration can worsen cold feet and cramping. Sip throughout the day. You don't need to overdo it, just stay consistent. Second, foot and ankle freedom. Tight socks, narrow shoes, or constant footwear indoors can limit natural movement. When it's safe, spend some time barefoot or in loose slippers. Let your ankles move. Let your feet spread. Third, gentle movement breaks. If you sit for more than an hour, pause and do this exercise for a minute. You don't need a full workout. You need circulation reminders. Now let's talk briefly about food, because circulation is also supported from the inside. Foods rich in natural nitrates, like leafy greens and beets, help blood vessels relax. Healthy fats, like olive oil and nuts, support vessel flexibility. And reducing excess sugar can decrease inflammation that stiffens blood vessels over time. You don't need a perfect diet. You need small, steady improvements. One more important point. Warmth helps circulation, but heat alone doesn't fix it. Warm socks feel nice, but they don't replace muscle activation. Think of warmth as comfort, movement as medicine. I've watched people regain confidence simply because their legs no longer feel like a burden. They stop fearing stairs. They sleep better. They feel more connected to their bodies again. In the final part, I want to talk to you about hope, consistency, and why it's never too late to support your circulation, no matter your age or past health history.